Welcome back. PrepperNow. Sorry, I had to go and take care of some things and make lunches for my kids. We forgot to do that tonight. Get them ready for the old school day and all that. So I had to go out and make lunches and stuff and get some things ready for the morning because we were not ready. Today was a pretty big day for us, but anyway, you don't care. So this one stood out at me. I thought we were kind of done with this crap, but I guess not. It is what it is, so squatters are again forcing homeowners out of their home. This is American Military News, pretty okay site. So as the story goes, Daniel Toma said his friend Amy Davis and her boyfriend were at the house this summer. Ran into difficulties with their car. Said they could stay in the garage until the car was fixed. Okay, nice. Trying to be a nice guy, right? Working on the car for days, didn't want to throw him out in the street, just being kind. Okay, good. So, stayed for a few months, and he just said, all right, this is enough. It's time. You guys are milking me. I get it. There's all kinds of homelessness going on right now. We all know it. We all see it. There's people living all over under bridges, abandoned areas. You go to California, there are people that are lining the streets in, dilapidated RVs, doing whatever they can to get by, couch surfing. So evidently these guys were in this guy's garage, and then he said, it's time for you to go, and, they didn't go. I mean, obviously, he's trying to be a nice guy, and then they took advantage of him. Not uncommon. So they said they had cable installed in the garage, started having mail sent to the residents, and he changed the lock on his garage without any rental agreement. Okay, that's kind of bad. Said, I asked them to go. My roommates asked them to go. They wouldn't leave. Tried to tell them to leave. And they started saying that they had squatters' rights. They had taken over this guy's garage. And so he gave him 30 days. He said, all right, you got to get out in 30 days. Fight between one of the Toma's roommates and Senchuk resulted in the squatter filing an emergency protective order against Mr. Toma. Judge ultimately granted the emergency protective order, forcing Toma to remain 500 feet away from Senchuk and his house. Okay. Now the guy can't stay at his house. What? So he gives him 30 days. Tensions are rising. There's a fight. Files an emergency protective order against the guy who owns the house, or is renting there, I guess. I might have missed that. And the judge ultimately granted the protective order, which got rid of Toma and forced him to remain 500 feet away. So it says that Fox 19 reported that Senchuk has moved out of the house amid the squatting legal dispute. So seems like it was resolved, but still, it's just kind of another one of those things where the law is not really working the way it should. So guy tries to get him out. The guy sits there and does this. But anyway, squatting is becoming more of a problem. We all remember the video of the New York lady who had the home that she was just kind of holding on to, and then she figured out people are living there, and she tries to get them out, and basically they're allowed to stay there. Kind of a similar thing, but I guess Mr. Senchuk came to his senses and left finally. So, but still, just kind of a crazy situation where you gotta be careful and it's nice to do nice things, but don't put yourself in a terrible situation where someone might be able to use the law or the legalities to force you from what is actually rightfully yours. So, well, why are people not doing so hot? It's because, our country is not doing so hot. As much as they want to paper it over it and say, yeah, everything's just fine, it's not. It's basically for everybody. So this is a big story. Almost 30 years it's been since the Teamsters are not endorsing any candidate. They're basically all political operatives, okay, for the Democrat Party. Now, they polled their people, and the people voted basically 59%, round up to 60, so it's about 60-40, Trump to Kamala Harris, okay? So it hasn't been that way in a while. I'm pretty sure they backed Joe in 2020. But 58% of the members polled backed Trump, 31% for Harris. So she didn't even get to 40%. I mean, that's a pretty big discrepancy right there. First time since 1996. So they're not endorsing anyone. So why is that? Well, they basically say that they don't have a majority of people that want to, one of the other candidates. But my question is, they do. The people obviously are wanting Trump, 58-31. So it says the Teamsters say they will not endorse a candidate for U.S. president. The general executive board of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters on Wednesday elected not to endorse any candidate for president. Okay. So, you go further into it, but they basically said, if you look at it, this other guy tweeted it. I was hoping I could find it in here. They don't have, they say that they don't have a candidate that's chosen by their members, but clearly they have a candidate chosen by their members. So, just more crap. I mean, so this is my thoughts on this, okay? Clearly, there's a large group of people now that are making a lot of money off of the government for whatever reason. Let's look at what's going on in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, or the Springfield. What's going on? Well, these people that are in government are getting all kinds of extra benefits, I guess, for doing certain things that the government wants. Okay. I get it. But the problem is that the people that are electing them to office are the ones suffering. There's a disconnect now. There's a political class that is really benefiting from the chaos and the crazy that is going on. And then there's everybody else who's saying, please stop. Stop doing this. I want you to stop. And they're just not stopping because they're greedy. Let's be honest. 58% is not like a light amount. These are Teamsters. These guys have voted Democrat for decades and decades and decades and decades. And now all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we want to vote for him. They're like, oh, sorry, we can't do that. We're just not going to, we're not going to vote for anyone. Because they know in the background that the political favors they get from the people all over the country and in different, municipalities, from D.C. itself, that's going to dry up. So they did the only thing they could do. Now, what people don't understand is this actually really is a big deal. It is a big deal that the Teamsters did not back any president. It's an even bigger deal that they didn't back Kamala. So, but don't you worry. There's never any any end to the dumb of the establishment conservatives in office, because honestly, in the background, they're benefiting from the chaos and the crazy and the stupidity as well. Hey, what's that? Oh, look at that. I think he's cooked Mike Johnson's two big problems. So they're thinking he might be up because we have this big spending bill that's going around right now. They want to shut down the government. There's threats of it. How is that going to benefit the Republicans in any way? Coming out and saying, we're going to shut down the government. Now, I don't want the government to do anything more than it does. I know what a true government shutdown means. You don't have to educate me on all that. It's basically they close the national parks and some BS, and nothing really happens. We've seen it happen before. It's not a big deal unless it goes to the point where, like, service members are not getting paid, okay? But it's not cataclysmic for the country, okay? But Johnson has been kind of lukewarm on all this. He supposedly came in as this like super conservative and everybody's had, but he's basically kind of played both sides, and this thing, it could blow up in the Republicans' face. So Johnson has two problems. Funding now and maintaining the speakership later, both are related, okay? So Speaker's future is riding on his ability to shepherd the House GOP through this latest impossible spending fight. He has to avoid a government shutdown and extract Democratic concessions and keep Trump on his side. So he's got to thread the needle, and he's not going to be able to do it. I personally don't think right now, before an election, is the time to fight. Now, what I would do is put like a CR and a continuing resolution, and basically make it so they fund it to like January 1st. Okay, let's get through all this stuff, get to the election, win, the House and Senate, hopefully, because that's what will really suffer. And then make it that in the early spring, we really go for it, and they just die on that hill. Whether they do this now or they do it in 3 months, honestly, at this point, it does not freaking matter. There's, 35, 38, 11 billion trillion in debt. Does it really matter? No. Obviously, they're going to start printing more money again. That's what the Fed rate, cut today by 0.5 or 50 BPS. States right there. So is anything really going to happen between now and a few months from now if they get the CR or, and continue everything and pick it up on like January 1st? Not really. Now, of course, the Democrats will try to, push it towards, midsummer or something like that. Republicans want to tie a lot of things that have to do with the election. I do agree with that, but I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, trying to be politically savvy, it would really be detrimental to House, Senate, and President if they tried to fight this out in the next 40-some days before the election. I don't like it either, but reality is reality. We need to have this fight, but not right before one of the most important elections of our lifetime. Okay, it's my personal feeling. You can disagree. That's what I believe, though. I want to fix it. I come out here all the time and say that there's all kinds of problems. We got to fix it. There's too much debt. This is going to blow up. There's, go back any video where I'm talking anything economy. Trust me, I don't want them spending any more. In fact, if I had it my way, they'd all go home. I don't think we need any more laws. I think we got basically everything covered. If something comes up that's a major kind of incident or whatever, get them on the phone, get them back in. They can get there quickly. Okay. But this whole thing is, it's going to screw things up. So, most people know that we're printing and spending too much money, but of course, they don't want their little pet projects to be taken away. I don't expect to see any of my money, when it comes to whatchamacallit, oh my God, the income, not income tax, you know what I mean? The freaking, what I pay into, how can I not remember this? I'm tired, folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see any money for anything from the government that I paid in. It's not going to happen. It's all pissed away. So, Social Security, thank you. My God, totally starting to get moments, man. Senior moments are starting to happen. I wish I was young again. Thank you to whoever said that. Debbie Wolfmom, thank you. I don't expect to see any of that. Not a penny. I've been paying in it for 35 years. I don't expect to see any of it. Yeah, this is a difficult set of cards, but they're going to screw this up, and it's going to hurt them in the election. And I think, honestly, a lot of them, like Johnson, are basically just trying to do it. So this whole thing, to do it right now before, it's not the time to fight. It's my personal opinion. So he's moving ahead with a vote on Wednesday to keep the government open for 6 months. Okay. I personally think 3, but whatever. Attaching the SAVE Act, a GOP bill that would require proof of citizenship. I'm totally all for that. You know that. But they're not going to go for it. And it's going to keep going back, and the government's going to shut down. They're going to sit there, and every jackass on MSNBC, BCFC, CBABC, is going to start sitting there going, the Republicans do. The Republicans do. They're taking away your money. You're not going to get your paycheck. Granny's going to eat Alpo. All that crap's going to start. Right at the wrong time. So, what are you going to do? Thomas Massey is correct. It is failure theater. They do the same thing every single time. So why not push it off by 3 months? I'm okay with 6 months. We're all going to be screwed in the spring anyway, no matter what goes on, because basically the inflation's going to start going crazy. Gold's almost to what, $2,600? I'm sure friggin' silver is probably still sitting there crapping the bed at $31. It's all fake. Just like he said, failure theater. It's all fake. So why not put it off, get the election over with, and go in there and just not give up, die on the hill. Because whether you die on the hill now or in 60 days, or you die on the hill in 3-4 years when the reserve currency status is taken away and we're all experiencing hyperinflation, it really doesn't matter. I'd rather do it now when I can actually handle things compared to when the world is in utter chaos. And that's not even, counting all the wars and conflicts and crap going on all over the place. But they're going to push this crap now. Why? Because they probably have big masters in the background saying, do it now because they know it's going to hurt them and yada, yada, yada. And then they'll do it, and then they won't get the seats, and be like, magically, the House has gone to the Democrats. Magically, the Senate has gone to the Democrats. Blah, blah, blah. And then in a year, you're sitting there looking at $40 trillion in debt. So, Gosar, I like him. I'm with it, So no one seems to be convinced the process ends in anything but a clean CR, and a few in the GOP are thrilled. And of course, no one's thrilled. I'm not thrilled about any of this stuff. Get through the election and then die on the hill. Die on it. Don't budge. Don't do a darn thing until you basically say we're dealing with our debt and the way we do everything. And make that what we go for. We could have handled this 14 years ago. They could have handled it in 2010. You had Coburn and all those guys doing all that. They had a committee. They were both sides. They said, look, if we put this stuff, I know this because I wrote papers on it. If we do all this stuff, it'll take us 25, 30 years, but we'll zero out and we'll stop the hemorrhaging. But of course, no, they can't. They got to sit there and pay the jackasses worrying about their little pet bills and stuff and all the little government, things to get their hit of sugar instead of looking at the big picture. And if you want to talk about a problem that Americans have, we don't look at the big picture. Most people in America are shitheads. They don't think about anything with the exception of what they're going to eat and crap out right after it tomorrow morning. That's it. Not a single one. You do. You guys are preppers. The preppers do. But most people just, whatever. What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to get hammered on? What kind of IPA am I going to drink? Here we are, 14 years later, and in another 10 to 14, if we even survive that long. And we're going to make the movie Idiocracy look like a freaking, intellectual PhD dissertation or something like that. I mean, it's just, the dumb is crazy. This is dumb. But, good news is, I don't think anyone's going to make it anyway because AI is coming. It's coming. Uh-oh. Panic over new chat GPT that reasons as expert warns of terror AI raids that steal cash from huge numbers of victims. And how could they do that? This is an interesting one. Let's bring it back so we can read some of this wonderful stuff about to happen to all of us. So apps like ChatGPT, I use ChatGPT, because I thought it would be smart to become familiar with it. And it's got some cool benefits, I'm going to be honest with you. As an educator, you can use it to do some cool stuff, save you a lot of time. But now they're worried because this thing is going to make it so they're capable of thinking. Can I give you my grand conspiracy theory? Can I give you my grand one? I think they want to make things so chaotic that they want to get rid of all of the Democratic Republican ideals. Okay, all that both, because it's both. Get rid of all that. Say it doesn't work, it's too crazy, humans are too unpredictable, and get some kind of a thinking machine, a technocratic AI that just does everything for us because we can't handle it. We need a sentient, large supercomputer to do the thinking for us. And they program it with all this crap they've got, filling it up. Do you guys remember Tay? Do you know who Tay is? Tay was a Microsoft creation that they set onto Twitter. She started doing large language models, they call it, to read all the tweets and all the craziness out there in Twitter land. This is before Elon Musk. And then they just set her out, and she went Ray as AF. She said she loved tiny mustache German National Socialist man and started spewing a bunch of Ray kind of stuff. I mean, she went off the rails. And they couldn't really control her. They had to just shut her down, so they did. Other things have happened like this, where they put this stuff out there and they go rogue. I mean, they can write all kinds of papers. I do paper now. I don't do pen. I don't do computers. First and foremost, because of the the copy and pasting and all that, but also because I just think that people learn better when they write physically with their hand. Maria Montessori said it's called hands as instruments. Just some kind of a connection happens when your hand is writing it. It sticks in your brain. So reasoning AI, they're saying this thing is big. Now, I, of course, worry more of like a Terminator movie kind of scenario where they put this stupid thing into like our Department of Defense and it starts running all of the systems of like our air defenses or NORAD or something. And it just, not even like in a way where it goes rogue. It just like fails in some way. So they spoke to security expert Andrew Bolster, a doctor. He said, basically, this kind of stuff is going to be good for cyber criminals. So large language model, that's what they call it. Basically, what a large language model, I've been reading about this. I'm interested, okay? What a large language model is they basically go out and they set this thing onto some kind of a huge network like Twitter, and they let it just go in and take it all and learn from it. And it does. It learns basically how humans think, how we reason, what are we thinking, what are the trends, what are the culture, all that stuff. Puts it into the large language model and figures out how to use it to its communication style, its thinking. And they do think. So, there you go. So as you can see on the left side, they're able to take away people's pictures and turn them into something that could be smut. They're able to, fake your voice and call your mom and have her wire you money. There is all kinds of stuff that they can do. So they're getting more clever too, as they're saying here. It's making decisions, doing responses. So he warned that the brainy new system could be used for carrying out clever scams. They call up your grandma, they call up your mother, and they say, this is, where we go. This is Wolf 762, Mom. And I need you to wire me money. I had a terrible thing happen. I'm down in North Carolina, and they've got me locked up. Someone stole my wallet and everything, and you need to wire this money so I can get out of the county lockup. And it sounds just like you. And not only does it sound just like you, it does your mannerisms. It says the kind of things you would say. That's not outside the realm. That's starting to happen. The problems that we have going on right now, folks, are going to pale in comparison to the problems that we have in not too distant future, a few years, maybe a decade tops. You know that at some point in our not so distant future, the grid is going to suffer from all of this, whether it's a cyber attack, CME, whatever, military maneuver, and we're all going to be kept in the dark, and nobody's going to know what the heck's going on. Why do you think the pager and communication system thing is going on in Lebanon right now? Because it's a war. What's the first thing you do in a war? You take out their communications. That is War 101. You take out the communications, you take out their networking, you take out their logistics. Can't do logistics if you can't talk. What's your biggest fear if all this stuff starts to go down? You know what my biggest fear is, folks? I can't communicate. And I don't know what's going on. That's the biggest problem that you would have in an SHTF. It is. So all of this is coming, and we sit here and we worry about the next popularity contest and, squatters, taking over people's houses, getting into car wrecks with new neighbors because they've never driven before. And to the point where they're killing children. It's just, that's proven. That's that one guy, he came out and said, please don't use my child's name because you're politicizing it. I get it. But all of this is going to pale in comparison to the problems that are coming if we don't get a hold on all this crap right now. We need to have rules on AI. We need to get our federal government back to the place where they're not creating a bunch of greedy POSs that are going to sit there and do anything they can to make more money. And that's the kind of people that are running the show, whether it's business, government, whatever. They don't care about you and I. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your grandma. They don't care. They just want more power and more money. It's selfish. It's what happens when a culture goes immoral, to be honest with you. And that's where we're at. There's no morality left. It's just take whatever the heck I can and it's not nailed down so I can make out with the most stuff. And what is it? It's just stuff. So there's let's see. So that ship has sailed. AI is so far past regulation. It is. It is so far past regulation. Who said that? Winning streak. Absolutely. That's gone. Now, basically, what we're doing is we're waiting for the whatever kind of event to happen. That's what I think. You know, why is it important to have a little bit of money out? Because what happens if all the power goes down? What happens? How do you get money out? How do you pay for anything? How do you fill your car up? How do you get food if you don't have it? Why should you stock food? You should stock food if you can't buy food, or everything goes dark for a while. That's the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And it could be something as simple as a mishap. Do you remember not too long ago, what was it, a month or so, 2 months ago, the crowd strike thing? Remember that? Everybody's forgotten it, but there's so much crazy crap going on. People have forgotten it. They're like, oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, crowd strike, remember that? Everything shut down, airports, buying stuff, entire systems of networking, blue screens of death. I was in Montreal, and I walked by a McDonald's. Someone's going to be like, oh, you were in there getting fries. I walked by. I didn't purchase anything from McDonald's. I walked by, and on the big kiosk screen thingies, because there's a little corner McDonald's down in, it was a neighborhood. Anyway, kind of a hipster neighborhood. So this place is in a little corner, on a corner, right by, we were getting baguettes for this bakery, because my kids wanted baguettes. Anyway, look inside the McDonald's, and there's a big frickin' blue screen of death. That was just one example. And I think it was like 2 weeks after it even happened. It wasn't even anything that was like that going on that day. We're getting set up for the blue screen of death. And we live in a country that is now immoral in its leadership. They don't care. It's immoral in the people that we see day to day. Squatters are taking over people's houses. Crime's going up. They can tell you it's not. It's going up. And our political masters really don't have anything that they're going to be able to do for us. I'm sorry. Again, I think Trump is a road bump at best. I'm not hating on the guy. I'm just saying reality is reality is reality. All he's going to do is buy you a little bit more time. That's it. So you better start putting things together and getting it done. That's what I think. So we're going to call it on that one, folks. I went way over. Tomorrow night I'm going to probably go to bed early because I've been getting real tired. I'm getting backed up. I can tell. I'm coaching and all kinds of other stuff. And I have a big, long music practice tomorrow night. So I'll probably just do the crisis report, then do a Friday drive and ride one. But we'll see. Everything changes. I always talk about this stuff and then changes. Keep prepping, keep getting your stuff together. And I know everybody's, Poplar said that. I watched Poplar's videos, Poplar Report. He's like, I know we all say it, get your house in order, get your house in order, get your house. But I mean, that's all he can say. I don't see anything else working, I don't. Because from here it just gets crazier. I saw a video on modern survivalists. You ever heard of modern survivalists? The guy who used to live in South America went through a complete and total financial collapse down there. And now he's up here, and he writes books. He's got a great channel. And he had a video today of a couple of our LEO, federal style, going up to a guy's house because they wanted to question for something he posted online. That's not Britain. That's here. That kind of stuff's coming too. Get your houses in order, okay? Please. I know it's a stupid saying, but it is the truth. All right, friends, we're going to call it on that one. Please, if you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell, darken it out, get the notifications, leave a comment. please consider becoming a member like Texan42. It's $2. It's not a lot, but it makes it so I can escape from my wife and come here, and she doesn't get too mad when I'm posting all night or doing a lot of videos, okay? Great channels out there. Go check them. Go check the prepper channels and listen to what they're saying, because we all got a finger on the pulse and there's bad stuff coming, okay? All right, friends. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks to my mods as well.